In 2024, a Cadillac driver in Florida got his car insurance renewal, and the price had jumped more than 20%. There was no accident, no ticket, no explanation. An insurance agent gave him a tip. Request your file from a company called LexisNexis. He'd never heard of it, but under federal law, they had to show him what they had on him. What came back was a report of his own driving. 130 pages, 6 months of his life, 640 individual trips, every one logged. When he drove, how far, and in a single month, 8 different insurance companies had requested that file to price him. He never signed up for this. He told the New York Times it felt like a betrayal. And the company collecting it all was the company that built his car. This is the story of how your car became the most effective surveillance device you've ever owned, and the law that puts a camera in every new one. Here's what changed. Somewhere in the last decade, cars stopped being machines and became computers with wheels. Internet connected, app paired, always talking to the manufacturer. Location, speed, braking, acceleration, when you drive at night, all of it transmitted. And in 2023, the Mozilla Foundation, the privacy nonprofit behind Firefox, reviewed the privacy practices of 25 car brands. Every single one failed. Mozilla called modern cars the worst product category for privacy they had ever reviewed. Worse than smart speakers. Worse than dating apps. The machines we sit inside of every day. But collecting data is one thing. What this story is really about is where it went. Follow the Cadillac driver's data. General Motors ran a feature called Smart Driver, pitched as a friendly program that gave you badges and feedback on your driving. According to the FTC and reporting by the New York Times, many people were enrolled at the dealership, bundled into the paperwork on delivery day. Some owners didn't know they were in it at all. Nebraska's Attorney General went further, alleging in a lawsuit that the enrollment flow made drivers believe they'd lose safety features if they said no. His office called it, in the state's words, emotional blackmail. From there, the driving data flowed to the data brokers, LexisNexis Risk Solutions, and a company called Verisk. Their job? Turn your trips into a driving score, flagging things like hard braking, sharp turns, and late night trips. And the customers for that score? Insurance companies, using it to price your premium. So picture the whole machine. You buy a car, a program you don't remember joining logs every trip, a company you've never heard of turns it into a grade, and your insurance quietly goes up with no crash, no ticket, and no idea why. The Texas Attorney General later put a number on it in his lawsuit. Data from 1.8 million drivers in his state alone. And that's not a glitch. That was the product. Then in March 2024, the New York Times published the investigation. The 130-page file, the premium hikes, the dealership enrollments, and the machine started coming apart in public. Within weeks, GM shut down Smart Driver entirely, unenrolled every customer, and cut ties with both data brokers. Verisk stopped accepting driver data from car companies altogether. Then came the lawyers. Texas sued GM and OnStar. Arkansas and Nebraska filed their own lawsuits. Class actions piled up nationwide. 2 U.S. senators asked the FTC to look at other automaker broker deals too. This wasn't a one-company story. And in January 2026, the FTC finalized its settlement with GM. There was no fine, but GM is banned for 5 years from sharing drivers' location and behavior data with consumer reporting agencies, and it must let every U.S. customer opt out of the data collection. And under a parallel California settlement, it must delete the data it kept and direct the brokers to delete theirs. Accountability? Some. But notice what nobody said, that the data was wrong. The file was accurate. That's what made it valuable, and that's what makes the next part matter. Because while all that was unfolding, a law was already sitting on the books pointing the other direction. Buried in the 2021 Infrastructure Act, Section 24220 is a federal mandate. Every new passenger vehicle sold in the U.S. must eventually include impaired driving prevention technology. The systems in development use infrared cameras and sensors that watch the driver, your eye movements, head position, and it can stop the car from operating if the system judges you impaired. The stated goal is real and serious. Drunk driving kills roughly 10,000 Americans a year. Where does it stand? The rollout has been targeted for 2027 for new vehicles. But here's the documented truth. The regulator missed its own rulemaking deadline and has said publicly that no current technology can accurately detect impairment, and automakers may miss the date. Your current car will never be retrofitted, but the direction of travel is written into federal law. Monitoring hardware, it's going to be standard in every new car. The only question is when. Put the two halves of the story together. We just watched what happened when cars quietly collected trip data. The next generation ships with cameras pointed at your face, and it's going to be mandated by law. The law doesn't require the footage be sold, but nothing in the last 5 years suggests we should assume it'll just stay in the car. So here's what you can actually do today. 1. Request your file. LexisNexis has a consumer disclosure report. Federal law gives you the right to see it. Free. That's how the Cadillac driver found his 130 pages. 2. Check your car's app and connected services account for anything resembling a driver score or quote-unquote smart driving program. And if you didn't ask for it, kill it. The FTC order means GM drivers can now opt out of this data collection entirely. 3. When you buy your next car, treat the privacy menu like the price. Something you check before you sign. Your car has a file on you, and you're allowed to read it. Subscribe for more stories behind the headlines. New cases every week.